What's up, everybody? I'm Terell.
And I'm Tieara LeeAnn.
And I'm Tewann.
And you about to be
Rewired.
Today we got two real good topics for y'all. First topic we're going to be talking about is the election and how crazy it's been to this point. And then we're going to transition into coping with COVID. For me personally, this is the first election I've ever been a part of where we 2 weeks past the election and still don't know who the president is. I did watch the acceptance speeches of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and I was encouraged. I actually felt like they were prepared. I was inspired that it was a black woman as vice president.
Definitely.
I felt like they had. It just felt like you was listening to an intelligent group of people who are capable of leading more so than in the past. But the crazy part is the reason why. I just want to ask a question because we are recounting votes in Georgia, recounting votes in Pennsylvania. I think is it Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I think so.
But the question to me is why? Why are we recounting those votes?
Because we have a president that refuses to leave. Like, he is literally doing everything in his power to stay in the office. So I think this election is definitely something that's going to make history. Well, it already has made history, regardless of the results. But this is going to be something that's going to be going on for a while. I think it is. Just because we know how Donnie is. Yeah.
Donnie
is.
T, he's not going nowhere.
Donnie don't play.
He ain't going nowhere. So, what I want everybody to do though is not relax. On January the 5th, we got an opportunity to vote Democrats into the Senate, and I think that's a big thing. We can't relax at this point. Oh, here's the other part about the election. In Gwinnett County, Cobb County, and I think it's one other county in Georgia, the police sheriffs that we voted for, we got new sheriffs in those counties, and hopefully the police reform thing will start taking place and growing legs, and and the whole police community relations problem will be addressed at that point too. So I'm optimistic. Nobody can say where it's gonna go from here, but hell, we can't go nowhere but up.
Definitely. The next topic we're going to transition to is coping with COVID. We want to give you guys some concrete ways to create your own plan on how to cope with COVID physically and mentally. So first, physically, the first thing that we need to do to attack this whole COVID thing is make sure your vitamin game is strong. Get your supplements up. And when I say that, I mean zinc, I mean vitamin C, ginger, black seed oil, anything else?
Turmeric. Anything that has antioxidants and that has like a citrusy type, like citrus fruits and stuff, they are good at ridding your body of toxins. So that's something that you definitely need to keep in mind.
The next thing I got is get your rest, because that's very important. A wise man once told me to try to go to bed as early as you can before 12 o'clock and allow your body to wake yourself up naturally if you can, if you have that option. I was told too once that any hour that you can sleep before 12 midnight is like 2 hours after 12 midnight.
Definitely. And sleep is the way that your body recovers. Your body can't recover as long as it's working. And as long as you up, your body is working. So if you go to sleep, that's when you recover.
Yes. And another thing is self-care. Self-care is a very important aspect as far as getting yourself prepared for COVID and this whole pandemic. If you take care of yourself, you'll be able to take care of other people. And right now, we all are alone. This pandemic is forcing us to stay in the house, stay quarantined, or at least some people. Atlanta is not one of them, and I don't know why. But
We outside.
we need to go in the house. That's another thing.
I know why though.
Why?
Atlanta is such a social city that I think we struggle more with social distancing than other people.
I think because our revenue is so heavily based on entertainment and social events. But I want to go to my next physical coping strategy, and that is treat the symptoms early. As soon as you start feeling sick, you need to start treating those symptoms individually. I think a lot of times we have denial, like we don't want to accept it. We be a little scared to say, I'm sick, or I might be coming down with something. We don't got time for that. So we have to go and treat these symptoms as soon as you start feeling a little different.
Definitely, I agree 100%. We could even take it a step further and even start treating the symptoms before they happen. I try to drink some hot tea with some ginger in it every morning.
With the lemon?
With the lemons.
With the honey?
With the honey?
Oh,
You don't play with that. Come on, man. It's going to get anything about you. But what you don't want to do is, like he said, wait until you can't get out of bed to start trying to address it.
Definitely.
One thing that I thought about that I think is huge is develop some hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we are in a place now where we challenged to kind of get back to the basics. And we are realizing now that we don't have any hobbies. We don't know nobody's number by heart.
Yeah.
We don't know how to entertain ourselves without other people being around. We don't see the value in the simple things anymore. So I think if we could take a step back, put things in perspective, and see the value in the simple things.
Definitely. We got to get back to basics.
Boom.
I saw a man playing solitaire the other day, and it was just, it blew my mind. I was like, how bored do you have to be to play cards with yourself? But we need to get back to that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It ain't nothing wrong
Most
with it.
importantly, because y'all know I'm all about mind, body, and spirit. You have to be like on every level to be whole sometimes. So my thing is use this time to get closer to yourself and to get closer to your spiritual support system, whatever it may be, whether it's God, whether you are more so universe type of person, whether it's Buddhist, Jehovah, whoever. Spend time just getting that protection on you. Pray, meditate. I'm a meditator. I love meditating. I love walks, nature walks. It works for me because I'm an antsy person. So if you're a person that like to be on the go and you can't quite slow it down, you might want to walk it off. So even though we're in a pandemic and they say quarantine, it's still okay to go outside to let that air hit your face.
Just like Tieara LeeAnn said, I try to do something to strengthen myself physically, mentally, and emotionally every day.
Yeah.
So I go to the gym, knock these weights out, some cardio. That's my physical strengthening. Then I go, I'm typing notes, I'm doing assessments, I'm trying to figure out solutions to problems, strengthening myself mentally. And then emotionally, it's just whatever it is that gives you that emotional burst of energy.
Exactly.
And that's going to be different for everybody. So
And love on your people. Put some love out in the air. Check on a family member. Call them up. Check on that friend. Return some text messages and some emails. Get some organization going on in your life because we all need that.
Definitely. That kind of transitions me to trying to wrap our minds around what to do mentally to deal with this global pandemic. And when I think about that, I kind of want to piggyback off of what Tieara LeeAnn said about reestablishing your support system, and piggyback off of what Terell said about getting your hobbies back together. If you was a person that was artistic as a kid, you like to draw, you might want to break your sketch pad back out. You know what I'm saying? If you used to do board games, you might want to break those board games out because you want to replace the things that you used to have to do in a group with things that you can do at home.
definitely. And here's the thing that's crazy. I'm finna throw a little mental health concept in here. when there's a situation that you cannot change, what you can do is change your perception of the situation, and that'll change the way you react to the situation. So try to look at the bright side of the situation. I mean, honestly, there has been some benefits. I almost hesitate to say it because I definitely miss,
When you talk about the PP loans,
I ain't talking about the PP loans per se, but I ain't mad about working from home.
right,
Yeah.
I ain't mad about them telesessions.
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But like anything you go through, the best thing to do is to figure out if you can change it or not. If you can't change it, try to change the way you're looking at it.
You rewire that thing.
And guess what?
Rewire.
At that point, you rewire.
I got one more suggestion to cope with COVID mentally, and it's the last one, but it's definitely the most important one. Invest in you a therapist.
Ooh.
Definitely, you
Ooh,
need
that's
one of those to keep your mental right, just like you keeping your physical right. Just like you got a PCP, primary care physician, you need to have a therapist.
Exactly.
There's too many ways to pay for therapy now, and we need it. It's
It's
needed.
super beneficial. It really works because if not anything, you have that one person that you can talk to that's not going to judge you, that's going to give you a clear vision of, the things that you want to work on. So, and you can also self-motivate yourself. We're breeding a lot of millionaires right now. Little do, and you like, no. It's a lot of people that I've been seeing on the come up as far as entrepreneurship and just like you said, finding new skills. So, I mean, y'all see us. We on this podcast trying to get
Definitely.
The other thing too I wanted to hit on with the therapist, a lot of people think that once you go see a therapist, you locked into that person. That's not the case. You find a therapist that works for you. Find somebody that you feel comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable with the first therapist you meet, that's okay. Seek another therapist. Most of the time, the first one is free or they got some type of free consultation built in. But therapy is nothing to be ashamed of. Therapy is nothing to indicate weakness. Therapy is something that can be a support for you. And it could be something that prevents you from getting in that place of crisis.
Since this pandemic and everything has been, reoccurring and going on, whether it's the election, whether it's COVID or whatever it is, how do you feel like you've been rewired this whole 2020?
Man, 2020 has rewired me in so many ways. I'll start with the election. I was rewired through the election process because for the first time, I felt a sense of optimism. Hearing the acceptance speeches and hearing the enthusiasm in the streets. And I was rewired and re-energized to go and finish the job and go vote on January the 5th.
I think I was rewired through the COVID experience just to know that it's definitely real and it's definitely out here. I think I had a little bit of resistance. I went through a little conspiracy theory phase. Then I went through a little 5G tower phase. But it's out here and it's definitely real and it's definitely a virus that can spread from person to person. So definitely was rewired in that way.
I've been rewired just by understanding that sometimes stagnation is a good thing. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to go through the motions of every emotion. And I mean, I'm trying to get to that bag too this year. So I'm not gonna let nothing stop me. So I think that's one thing to always keep in perspective. Don't give up. Keep going. Even though all these crazy things are coming to the world, keep it moving.
Definitely. And when you see a situation you can't change, you change the perception of that situation. And at that point, you rewire.